Welcome to the Builders of Authority podcast, a show committed to helping you build authority for your brand. In the realm of business and personal branding, authority stands as a cornerstone. Authority isn't built overnight, it's built over time. So join us as we build something remarkable together. And now, here's your host, Adam McChesney.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Builders of Authority podcast. Quick reminder before we hop into today's episode that we are continuing to grow our Builders of Authority community online. Builders of Authority is committed to helping you become the authority in your industry with personal branding and business growth. We have our free Facebook group that you can join by typing in Builders of Authority into the search bar, and in that group, we have daily content, weekly live trainings, and much more. We have our Builders of Authority Mastermind group, which includes a private Facebook group, 2 live weekly trainings and sessions, access to our personal branding course, and more. One-to-one personal branding coaching and consulting is also available. Reach out to us at buildauthority.co or send me a DM on social media and let's have a conversation. Our next BOA live event is happening this summer on Wednesday, June 26th here in downtown St. Louis. Tickets are on sale right now, so go over to buildauthority.co/event and grab your ticket before it's too late. Today, I'm joined by one of the brightest minds I've ever met in the marketing and advertising space. We have known each other over the past couple of years, and I've seen him continue to grow his business by providing incredible solutions and results for his clients. I'm excited to learn a little bit more about him and dive into his story even further, and for him to share some nuggets and insights to you so you can take those and get better in business. My guest today is Jeremy Thraikill. He is the founder at Dumpster Rental Systems, which is the #1 solution that helps waste haulers automate their business under one roof. Jeremy, welcome to the show.
Hey, Adam, thanks for having me. Appreciate all the kind words.
Yeah, of course, man. I know we've been it's been probably close to 4 years now. We've talked a variety of times over the last couple of years, but for the audience, who's Jeremy?
Man, I'm a grinder. I started off in sales since I was 17 years old. I consider ADD my superpower. I tried out college. I realized it wasn't good for me. I got 60 hours. I went to school for business, but never took one business class. But that being said, I worked in the Austin startup scene for quite some time. I worked for multiple Inc. 500 digital marketing agency as well as SaaS companies. That's where I earned my stripes. That's where I learned leadership, and that's where I learned that emotional intelligence outweighs anything you can get on a piece of paper from a school. And that's really what helped set me apart is that and working under great mentors. So in a nutshell, I'm a serial entrepreneur, man. I realized really quick when one of my mentors brought to me a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's a weird story, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was always great at talking about his superstars and giving them praise, and really worked on developing us. Always gave us books to read, and he goes, "I really think this one's going to sit home for you." So anyway, that guy's name is Jeremy Thraikill. He's one of the founders of Outrank, became Yodel, and they sold to web.com. Huge exit. I was there when there's only 10 reps until we had like 200 plus reps. And when he gave me that book, I thought he was telling me to go start my own thing. And funny story is, I went and started my first digital marketing agency, brought in 200 customers in about 6 months. And long story short, they sent me a cease and desist letter, not compete. But that was more so his brother-in-law. So I also learned my lessons about a lot of things. And just like anyone else, I've had my success stories, but no one talks about their losses. And I've had my fair share. And that's where I really cut my teeth by getting my teeth kicked in a few times.
Sure. Yeah. That'll definitely do it. I love your story, though, kind of like starting with, I think, my whole thought process on college and all of that stuff has completely changed. I went to college, graduated, but looking back on it, like, did very, very little with the degree. Outside of it got me my first job, and that got me then my second job. But after that, especially in the entrepreneurial space, you meet so many people and you're like, wow, I never would have thought how many people would have been super, super successful without all of that stuff. And so it's always good to hear those stories because I think it resonates with a lot of people. So you talk about that first marketing agency that you built and kind of getting the teeth kicked in and all of that stuff. What's happened since that first agency?
Yeah. So, that first agency, that's another life lesson about having a really good contract in place. So, my two partners I had in that, they're the ones that, did the web design, did some of the SEO. And this is what motivated me to learn SEO myself. And they figured that since I brought in the sales, I was only worth X amount.
Mm.
And long story short, I knew right then and there they had, they didn't have the best intentions for me,
Mm-hmm.
and they thought they had it figured out. So I cut bait, I moved on, and that's where I learned about getting a lawyer, right? Getting what's called a breach of fiduciary duties and docu-style restrictions when you have a partnership, when people, how far they can leave, how many days they can report to office to make sure everyone has a proper mindset, and partnership distributions, things that a lot of people don't discuss until something like that happens. But
Mm-hmm.
luckily, we're still early on. So from there, I started catering to lawyers. I had a digital marketing agency called Lawsudo. We even do that a SaaS platform where we'll build websites, and that was our entry in. We'll build you a nice quality website. We target a lot of people from Scorpion Web Design and other things, and we did it on a more affordable recurring basis, knowing that naturally that we can sell back into our base because they're gonna want to talk to you about SEO, Google AdWords, this, that, the other. Since then, I went to Superstar SEO Academy. I went to Gotcha SEO. I've been through those courses multiple times. I've took mastermind groups. I've actually seen you in a couple of them myself, and I realized that I need to do more. I need to actually master this. So it's a lot of willpower and maybe some of my Adderall. I got it done. I put in. I tested off with a few people I knew, and slowly but surely got really good at it. Built a name for myself and grew it on a referral basis more than anything. But with my background in cold calling and other forms of marketing, like we're really good at data mining, email marketing, this, that, the other. We got very creative and we're able to scale very fast. And we had a successful exit with that one as well. And I actually owned one of the largest party rental marketing companies in the Austin area. And this is how my story gets into DRS. So I really love the software. I launched 4 websites, ranked them on the front page of Google, typically in every city in the Austin metro. You search the word party rentals, Austin bounce house rentals, water slides. It was one of my 4 sites that all integrated with one. So I took out all the oxygen in my market and people got very impressed. We actually took the design and we made an Amazon style website. We basically ripped off Amazon. My cousin, who's my partner, is a very skilled developer, and we built that on the ERS platform. So if you've ever seen a Amazon style website from the party rental space, he either built it or someone mirrored him very closely. And either way, we take it as a compliment, right?
Mm-hmm.
How can't you?
Mm-hmm.
So doing that, one of my dumpster customers, we started doing a lot of marketing for some of the largest companies in the country. And one of my customers got into dumpsters and I kind of just lucked into it. And I saw how he had 22 cans. We already ranked him on the front page of Google, but he decided he wanted to put it on the ERS platform. And his name's Nick Avila, by the way. And with those 22 cans, he only did 250K. Well, that was a lot of call-in orders, this, that, the other. We put it on ERS. We noticed that we went from same amount of cans, 22 cans, same rankings, nothing really changed. He already dominated, and we made it 550K. And we did that by learning how to pull levers. For example, he used to do it for 14 days. We narrowed it down to 7 days. Then we narrowed it down to 4 days. Instead of $7 for each additional day, we did $20 a day. Then we started adding time-sensitive deliveries. If you want it there at a certain hour, which some homeowners do, especially on those smaller cans, then we charge $50 for a 2-hour window. And with the same inventory, and all we did is have online booking, it allowed him to put his guard down and let the data speak for itself of what levers we can pull so we can slowly, inch by inch, grow his EBITDA or grow his profit margins without ever buying another can. And it made him extremely profitable. So that data really spoke to me. I reached out to the owner of Event Rental Systems at this time, and I said, hey, I got a team of 20 people. I would love to see if we can work together. I want to go after a new vertical you guys never did before, and I want to white label it. Long story short, they just got acquired by Full Steam, and Full Steam allowed a 7-year non-compete where they wouldn't be in waste management and allow me to do this. And what took ERS 10 years to hit, we did it in 8 months. And then we combined companies. I took over as president for both, and now the vertical president for rentals over in Full Steam. And we're the first one ever to 13 exit company during acquisition. And yeah, it's been a game changer. Learn a lot. Corporate space is somewhere I've been early starting in, more in the sales environment, and now I'm back at it at a leadership. So anyway, it's been a fun journey. And that being said, we're constantly working on improving our processes and products so we can sell even more services back into our base. If you have a happy customer, they're willing to buy more from you, especially if they complement what they're trying to achieve.
Yeah. That's an incredible story, man. I obviously
Yeah.
didn't know 90% of that. So really cool to be able to hear some of that stuff.
Yeah.
One of the things that I admire about that story and what I already knew about you, but was the willingness to go like learn and master, what you had mentioned around like the SEO stuff and obviously what it is that you're selling, especially coming from a sales background. Like I was in medical
Yeah.
device sales, and then that's where I really grew my agency. But like I knew SEO, and I was gonna like master SEO. So then that way, when we were selling it, it was really, really effective.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are like, oh, no, I just need to focus on sales and everybody else can handle that. Well, that's like fine, but it's not to the level of what you're talking about. And then secondarily from that, you talk about taking a client that you have that's already, super happy, but they're capped out essentially with the model that they had. And so by just understanding who your client was and what some of their pain points were,
Yeah.
you were able to bring outside of the box, almost be like a growth consultant of sorts and be
Yeah.
like, hey, we're not just doing your digital marketing. Like we're going to 2x your business by just adding some additional things and features in the back end that's going to take your profit margins and grow them insanely.
Yeah, we even tie in review management. We even someone abandons a cart. We have it now where it's automatically following up, doing sequences, anything to help grow their business. On top of that, once a year, we had 200 of our customers fly in Nashville, and we do cold call workshops. Literally cold call on the event side, cold call churches, schools, party, corporate venues, as well as catering companies. And then on the dumpster side, we call them contractors. And one thing I want to say is marketing is powerful, but I would never buy a bunch of equipment, which a lot of people tend to do, and just sit on it and just wait for the marketing rain god to come in 6 months later and think that that's going to automatically make my company. Yes, it can definitely help, but I literally pounded the phone, found out what you just mentioned, customer persona, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what size cans do I own? What size cans do these people rent? What are those contractors? Cold call them. No one's doing this. Build relationships and say, hey, I'll match your beat what you currently have. You're right here in my backyard. And I'll match your beat what you currently have by 3%. And next time you get in a sticky situation where you need a can, give me a call. Well, we did some of that, and it was really cool. Next week, one of our customers attended. They landed 100 can account for that year for their local municipality, and they just learned that one little nugget, and that right there is very powerful to me. And if you can teach someone how to fish and cook it, it's great.
Yeah. No, it's a great combination to be able to have like everybody. And I've talked with people, so many different contractors and home service businesses. And as you mentioned, that like marketing rain just to like fall down. Yeah, that's great when that happens. But if that's all you have, you're one algorithm change away, you're one stupid like something going wrong. You need to have that other side to your business, which kind of ties into like, obviously what we talk a lot with branding. So from a business branding standpoint, whether it's people know that a website is easy to use because they're on your software and that's a huge competitive advantage for people that are on your software versus anything else. That could obviously have the brand stick out, or it's the brand when they get on the website. What are some things that you've seen from your clients or you've learned over the years in your businesses from a branding standpoint that's helped elevate you all to a next level?
Yeah, so I'll start with the first one on our client side, right? And keep in mind, I was also one of our clients. I ran a roll-off company as well as an event company, and and I'm not saying that I came up with it because some of the best ideas I ever had were stolen ones. So I can't remember where I heard it from, but man, it worked, right? So credit to John Doe out there. We constantly get these people are filling out these lead forms, people going to our website booking. And if you just take the time and you look them up a little bit and you see their emails, if it's a contractor, you can kind of tell if it's a homeowner based on what they said they needed it for, residential home use or contractor use. Well, when it comes to the contractor, you know, I'm trying to connect with those people on Facebook, right? On my personal page. And I'm taking that, I'm looking up their company name, looking up their email, I'm following them on their page, and then I'm trying to connect with them on a personal level. And once I make that connection, I always say a pre-canned message. Thank you so much for starting your business. I appreciate you blessing my family as well as my employees' families, and just want you to know it's greatly appreciated. They add me as a friend, and now I boast and I post about how proud I am with my dumpsters, right? What we do, how we made a customer happy, whatever it might have been. And these customers see the pride that you take and what you're doing at that time. And Adam, you do the same thing, right? Is you're self-branding. So next time they think about a dumpster in their local community, they're going to mention you.
Yeah.
And they're going to start sharing with their friends or family members. Hey, my sister said she needed a dumpster. She's going to share it. Next thing you know, you're starting to get tagged in these contractor underground groups in your city. You're getting tagged in the local city, and it goes viral. And this is something that costs you nothing other than your time. And a lot of entrepreneurs, they have more time than they have money, but they don't take advantage of it. They have every excuse why they can't do it, but yet they can tell you what's going on in the Games of Thrones, right? It's like, get rid of the excuses. So on the business side of things, for DRS, similar to what you did, you follow Alex Ramosi, right? $1 Million Leads. Guy's smart. He's the first one to put a big book to it. But, it's something I've been doing for years. I created my own groups. I became an authority in that group. More importantly, I gave a lot of free advice, like cold calling, how to evaluate your market, what would I do when I first started Dumpster Company from day one? I'll go look up how much each one of these cans are renting for. I'll see what the landfill is. I don't want to be the highest in the pack. I don't want to be the lowest, but I want to be somewhere in the middle. And more importantly, I want to start gaining ground and gaining market. Once I do that, I'll start pulling levers and start inching the prices slowly but surely. But more importantly, you educate these people on these free nuggets. You do these cold call workshops. You talk about how to do some very basic stuff that a lot of people are not aware of. And now they find that information very valuable, and they're intrigued, and they're staying active in your group. And slowly but surely, you drop those nuggets that you do offer software. You do online booking. How many of you guys are taking advantage of making money while you sleep? Like, how much would that cost you to have someone answer your phone calls after 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock? 15, 20 bucks an hour if you can even find someone. Well, our software does it, right? And I'm not trying to pitch my software, by the way, but it's a very powerful message. But a lot of people, they don't connect all the pieces like a lot of people with common sense, right? Common sense isn't common, but if you put those pieces together and you give them a lot of information, they respect you for it. More importantly, you can eventually make them a customer as long as you do all the right things and they see value in your product. So that's one thing that we did heavily. As far as digital marketing too, we're on YouTube. Our video's seen 38,000 views. We got people that watch that video and just pick up the phone and call us. We rank number one in the country for it. So we do everything. But when I first started DRS, I had no marketing budget. I spent $60,000 a month. But what I did have was a telephone and Facebook. And like Alex Ramosi said, everyone's a lead. I worked it very hard. But more importantly, I made sure I gave more versus asking that people will naturally reach out to you if you know how to strategically do it right, brand yourself, right?
Yeah.
You brand it yourself because I've been wanting to get into more of these sort of things, right? I just got to go do a sales conference in front of 80 SaaS companies with Sandler CEO and Dave Marsh, very respected salesperson. I'm sure you're in the medical field. You've probably been Sandler sales trained yourself, right?
Yeah.
So that was kind of like the Michael Jordan to me at the time. And that being said, I love helping people naturally. I've consulted a lot of my friends, and it's something I'm just passionate about. And it's things that I preach constantly. Like everyone says they don't have a budget. That's fine. But there's always something you can do to get your foot in the door. And it might outweigh what you can do on the digital marketing aspect at times. But at the end of the day, I believe you should be doing everything.
Yeah. No, I love your methodology and kind of your thought process on that. And you and I have a very, very similar outlook on like providing all the value in the world, and then
Yep.
everything else is going to come, right? And it's usually those first like 6 to 12 months that really suck of providing the consistent value. But then the lead flow and your brand starts to overtake the value that you're doing, and it starts to really, really pay off and take that stuff to the next level, both on a personal brand standpoint and on a business standpoint. I did want to ask you a question around like DRS and ERS and a lot of the stuff that you've done. I know you mentioned agency for lawyers, for example. What has niching down, for example, with dumpsters for DRS done to make it easier to go brand yourself versus being the guy or the gal of the company that can help anybody?
Yeah. So when it comes to marketing, and agree to disagree, but I'm always mindful if you're the jack of all trades, you're the master of none. If you
Mm-hmm.
don't really understand that customer persona and the customer's customer,
Mm-hmm.
then you can do some harm uh, unknowingly, and there's always a ramp up period. But if we're talking about in the form of like marketing, for example, I mean, we can be so niche specific on our content and our backlinks, and it allows us to build, uh, really good profiles. So when someone does come on board, we can ramp them up a lot quicker than someone who's never worked with a dumpster company, who started from square one and doesn't have that niche backlink profile that really it takes to get that juice to really get going. I hope that answers your question. So I
No, it
think that
definitely does.
separates us, and also understanding e-commerce. For example, like if I'm doing Google AdWords, everyone is trying to spend their money Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, because that's when someone can answer the phone or return an email.
Mm-hmm.
Well, on the e-commerce standpoint, I tell people, let's do the opposite. And when 5 o'clock hits, let's push our budget to the very highest, and let's be at the top of the search results, because you're most likely, in a lot of cases, the only one that can say, book a dumpster 24/7 online,
Mm-hmm.
right? If that contractor's stuck in a pinch and he can't get a hold of his guy, say he's going to follow him up and he needs to do a turn tomorrow and he needs a new can, that's when you're going to get your foot in the door with that new business owner. And not to mention, no one else can offer that, because most of these contractors, they're not going to call you at 8 or 9 o'clock at night because they think it's most likely rude or they're not going to answer. And sometimes the business owner just doesn't answer. But the website, it takes the booking, and that's really what sets us apart. Is we just know our customer persona, we know what works, what doesn't work, and at the end of the day, we're constantly looking to improve. But the data speaks to you. But when you have so much data across so many sites, right? We have 4,000 customers. It's powerful, and we know what works and what doesn't work. And anyway, it's very exciting. We're constantly learning, and it's just paying attention to the data. At the end of the day, it's just part.
Yeah, the data is an
You know,
incredible tool.
Adam, I want to ask you something. So you and me, I feel like we're kind of stuck in the same spot, right? You're growing, you're expanding. I understand you had a pretty successful exit recently as well, and you know, it's really hard these days to get content in. I don't take you as a 40-hour guy, right? I'm up every day at 5 a.m. I'm firing off emails. My employees think I'm batshit crazy. Then I try to get through every damn email. Then I go hit the gym, and then I'm at the office. And then I'm usually not leaving here till 7. I go eat dinner with the family, and then I probably from 10 to 11 o'clock at night, I'm back on emails catching up. So I found it being very hard And I'm just curious, like, what are you doing right now to try to catch up? Because you're still putting out some very credible content, but I think you're probably being a lot more strategic, a lot more planned this time.
Yeah, so the first time, like as I've been building Builders of Authority, the first thing I did was hire an executive assistant. So the executive assistant is responding to a bunch of my emails, doing a bunch of the stuff. I get about the same 10 emails every
Yeah,
single day from all the different clients that are in our
yeah,
mastermind and then in our one-to-one community. I would say from there is like I just have it so ingrained in my mind that anything I do and most of my success, obviously I've worked hard and I've done good things, but a lot of it has been from my content. And so like that's at the forefront of my stuff. So yeah, I get up early, usually around like 4:30. I'll go work out, get my morning routine in. Try not to look at my phone until I'm actually heading, into my office or getting ready to like make my first post of the day. But I plan out a lot of the stuff from a content standpoint. So, like on Tuesday this past week, I did an entire month's worth of YouTube videos. I did 2 weeks worth of reels, and then I built out the rest of the video courses. So, getting intentionally focused and time blocking with the content is something that I now have to do like right now versus 2 years ago or 4 years ago when you met me. Like I probably had 10 clients. I could do content. I could do content all day if I really wanted to. There was not a whole lot going on. So I think as you grow and as you scale and as you do more things, the planning part of it's just key.
yeah. I think you're crushing it, man. I can definitely take a page from your book. This is some nuggets that I'm picking up today. So I know I need to get back to the basics and make time for it. And something I try to tell my salespeople too, like, guys, you can be a brand within a brand.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of my
Yep.
top sales reps, her name's Natasha. Like everyone knows her by name,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll yell her name off the top of a mountain. And it's those sort of things that, man, you could just open up so many doors if you're just willing to help people and not expect nothing back, and know naturally the people you do and can help are going to reach out to you when the time's right. And
Yeah, it's gonna come
you
full
crushed
circle.
that. You
I
crushed it.
appreciate I appreciate that, man. And I learned a lot from you in today's episode. So really appreciate you coming on. I know you're a busy guy. As we wrap up everything in here, any last pieces of advice that you'd like to share with the audience, whether it's about business, branding, marketing, advertising, anything that comes to mind that we didn't chat about?
You know, there's that. I have this little thing, right? I always have think I'm gonna have to find it. But we always got to have our reminders of why we're doing things,
Mm,
right? So I keep this coin on me and I have it to all my sales reps and all the people that join my cold calling workshops every year. And it's a statue of a self-made man. I'm gonna mail you one out. And it's a gold coin, statue of a self-made man. And on top of it says, "Today, how am I going to give myself a raise?" Right? That's very powerful to a business owner.
mm-hmm.
And it says it around there. Then you turn it in the back, right? It says my two. It says my favorite quote: "You have to do what others won't to achieve what others don't."
Mm,
Right? Eliminate the excuses, and that's my reminder. I constantly say my goals every single morning on my way to work. I'm gonna get a little corny. I am religious, and I don't pray for money. I pray for help me help others. In return, we can all have a better life, right?
mm,
So that's something that I say. I believe in manifestation, but more importantly, you have to know your goals, and you've got to write out a plan to hit your goals. And the goal might change. I mean, the goal never changes, but your plan might have to many
mm,
times. But more importantly, do what it takes to hit your goal. If that's more time, more hours you got to put in work, is if that is more money you're gonna have to put into something that you didn't think was gonna work, but it's gonna pivot and everything checks out on the map. Whatever it takes, you constantly got to be willing to pivot to hit your goal. So that is one thing that I feel a lot of people early on, if they had a plan, they'll get much further. There's too many people out there winging it. I used to be one of those guys.
mm-hmm.
And luckily, I had a couple mentors that settled me down and made me see how much money I was leaving on the table. And it was only thing separating it was just doing a few more things better and buttoned it up, and it wasn't really hard to find those levers. So anyway, exploring the sounds, that's what I like. That's what I like to share with everyone. I like to be inspirational.
Yeah. Well, no, I appreciate that, man. It definitely hit home for me as well. So appreciate you sharing that. Where can people stay connected with you online?
Facebook, I guess. Yeah, Jeremy Thraikill. There's not many of us. I'm just the ugliest of all the ones you'll find. There's like 3 of them in the country.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, Adam, I just want to tell you thanks so much for having me on board, man.
Yeah, of course,
I'm
man.
definitely a fan. I believe in what you're doing. I think people are going to pick up a lot from it. But it's just like any tool, right? This is a tool. Everything that you're sharing today, everything I'm sharing. But just like any tool, it only works if you pick it up, and you're only going to master it over time. Don't think it's going to work right away, because it never does.
Never does. Yeah. No, great pieces of advice. Incredible episode. Great way to end it, man. Really looking forward to continuing to support you and continuing to see how you continue to grow, and just a huge fan, man. So thank you so much. And thank you again to our audience today for listening to today's episode. When this episode comes out, make sure to share it on social media. Go follow and add Jeremy on social media as well. Tag him in the stories and all the different content that you're going to share. Leave us a 5-star review as well. We're really making a big push for 5-star reviews this year. It definitely helps move the needle. And remember, authority isn't built overnight, it's built over time. We'll see y'all next week.
Thanks so much for tuning into this episode. We sure do appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, make sure you're subscribed to the show wherever you consume podcasts. This way you'll get notifications as new episodes become available. If you feel so inclined, please leave us a review. We sure do appreciate it. Until next time, friends.